Next up is a movie that Eric and I did called Bring Him to Me. And Barry Pepper, who we talked about earlier from Battlefield Earth and Saving Private Ryan, so many wonderful films. He plays just this guy. Don't have to look up the name on IMDb. He's known as a driver. He's a driver. There's a passenger. The passenger is played by Jamie Costa. He of Dead On Robin Williams and impression fame. Jamie Costa is a very talented when he, I mean, you gotta, I don't even know if I can find that YouTube when he did Mork from Ork, Robin Williams. He's so good in that. Anyways, Jamie Costa, very good in this movie as a passenger of the driver. The driver and the passenger, they did a sort of heist regarding Sam Neill's character. They earlier on, they went on the heist with the driver, the passenger, and someone else. That mission sort of went south. Okay, even though they absconded with the treasures, it did sort of go south, and now the driver is tasked with driving the passenger to the actual meet point of the crime boss, played by Rachel Griffiths. And we're assuming the crime boss is really pissed off at the passenger, possibly, and she may actually, who knows what she will do to the passenger. He may be being driven by the driver to a very fateful final moment for him. So the movie covers what happens between after the heist and then the following day with a drive to the to the crime boss. A lot of things happen in during that drive, and it's very interesting. Eric, your thoughts on Bring Him to Me? Again, it's almost a two-hander with Barry Pepper and Jimmy Costa. A lot of it is with them in the car talking or just getting to know each other. But Sam Neill is also a big part of this movie. He has a really interesting role as well. Eric.
Yeah, this was a pretty good, straightforward thriller. It's weird to say thriller because they are in the car pretty much not the whole time, but most of the time. Yeah, Barry Pepper is basically driving Jamie Costa to his doom, and Jamie Costa is just like, "Oh, just another job. That's cool. Oh, I'll call, gotta call my wife. Blah blah blah. Talk to whatever." Meanwhile, Barry Pepper knows what's up. He's like, "Get a phone on here, like straighten up," but like he can't tell him to stay serious. He can't tell him the reason why he needs to stay serious because that would say, I'm driving you to be murdered, so you might want to, take it down. But that kind of dynamic's real fun. I like how they did the flashbacks because they start off kind of like, the Jamie Costa's hair, he's got kind of that mohawk, so even though their face is covered, it pretty much telegraphs that he's behind it, and then the next flashback you see him. And then, okay, and as that goes on, you kind of realize why Jamie Costa is being led to where he's being led to. And then where it ends up is really fun, exciting. Well, fun. It's really exciting and pays off pretty satisfyingly. And there are certain things that happen that I was not expecting to happen. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, like Eric said, straightforward thriller. And what's interesting, it's an indie thriller made within 15 or 16 days for a limited budget. And for the limited budget, it's a good looking movie, well acted. And Barry Pepper and Jamie Costa, they make it for a pretty good pair. You're actually invested in what's going on and you're pulling for the passenger to make it by the time the movie wraps up. And it goes some really interesting places. Eric and I will be talking about the ending and our thoughts and our vote, whether we thought the ending worked or not for our spoilers. But as far as the movie goes itself, always great to see Sam Neill in this movie. This time he plays a guy named Frank, even though he's being held up by these crooks, he gets pretty tough. And it's a very, just
There's
yet another, what?
there's someone that shows up at the end. Is that a spoiler? Because you hear the voice, but is it a spoiler to say that they're in the movie?
What voice? What do you think?
The voice on the phone.
A voice on the phone.
Yeah.
There's a voice on, who's a voice on
The
the phone?
Barry Pepper's talking to. Let me talk to so and so, but they're not here. And then eventually talks to him, and then they show up at the end. They're listed on the credits. I just don't know if it's a spoiler to even say that they're in
No,
the movie.
who's the voice? I
It's
completely.
Rachel Griffiths.
Oh, Rachel Griffiths. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, okay. So
Yeah, I didn't know that, but either way, I liked her character. She shows up like you hear her voice throughout, and then she
Well,
shows
you
up at the end. But I didn't know if that was a spoiler, even mentioning that she was in it or not.
Oh yeah, no, I mentioned that she plays a crime boss. She
Oh,
plays a
okay,
crime boss,
all
and
right.
yeah, no, that's not a spoiler.
I'm
She's
dumb. I'm dumb.
yeah, no, no, she's the crime boss. Rachel Griffiths plays a crime boss, Veronica, and she's a very mean person, and you get to see her in the third act of the film. Anyways, final thoughts on the movie, Eric, and then your rating for Bring Him to Me.
Yeah, this was a really cool thriller. I dug this one a lot. Not a bunch of flash and extras, and just kind of gets right to the point and stays in its lane. And I'm a fan of obviously I'm a fan of Barry Pepper, but I'm also a fan of Jamie Costa. I really want to see him in more stuff because the only stuff I know him from is the he did that Robin Williams kind of short on YouTube. He's done like a Han Solo short on YouTube. I've seen him on like the Schmoes Know and like the Schmo Down stuff. He would pop in there, but this was like the first movie I've seen him in, and I'd like to see him in more because he's really good.
He's a natural. He's good in this movie. He was a
He's
biggest surprise.
he's one of the sometimes you have the movie where you have the funny guy, but the funny guy is usually annoying people.
Yeah,
He can be that person, but not annoying. Like
yeah,
he can actually be like an earnest kind of just kind of everyman or comedic comedy relief without being like, oh God, this guy again.
yeah. He was good. Very good in the movie, and Barry Pepper is always good. So, Bring Him to Me. My rating is 4 stars. What about you, Eric?
I think I might be the same, 4 stars.
Okay, 4 stars for me and Eric. Bring Him to Me in theaters and on demand February 23rd. Again, starring Barry Pepper, Jamie Costa, Rachel Griffiths, and Sam Neill.